Jessica Poliner is a transformational leader with a history of leading geographically dispersed and culturally diverse industrial businesses. Currently, Jessica serves as the president of Molding Solutions, a strategic business unit in Barnes Group. Having worked all over the world, she now leads a global team in Germany with 15 manufacturing locations worldwide. She holds a bachelor's degree from Vanderbilt University and a Juris Doctor degree from Marquette University. Jessica is also a published co-author of Unskirting the Issues, a guide for the well-intentioned man in today's workplace. Please welcome Jessica Poliner.
Thank you so much, Susan, too. And thanks, Meredith. I really appreciate your comments, and I think they lead well into my talk, too. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Joining you from Freiburg, Germany. As Susan mentioned, I'm Jessica Poliner, President of Molding Solutions at Barnes Group. And I lead a group of global businesses in the plastic injection molding industry. And so I wanted to start with a provocative idea. Saving the planet does not mean eradicating plastic. It means changing it. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Next slide. Growing up, I wanted to save the world as Superwoman. I even had my cape, and not just for Halloween. As I got a little bit older, the idea matured. I wanted to save the world by helping people. My father started his career as a lawyer, and like many young girls, I idolized my father. It was so simple. I would be a lawyer and save the world by helping people. Dean Eisenberg, who is the dean of my law school, referred to the practice of law as a commitment to the genuine service of others. I truly believed it to be a helping profession. Not long into the private practice and then the in-house practice of law, I realized that I could do more, affect more change on a greater platform as a business leader. I transitioned to leadership and general management roles predominantly in a man's world, at Caterpillar, at Thermo King, and now Molding Solutions with Barnes Group. Today, I lead a group of global businesses of more than 2,000 people offering tool-based solutions for global customers in the plastics industry. This includes hot runner systems, molds, sensor technologies, and control systems. Everywhere I've gone to work, I've enjoyed learning the industry and the business. I'm a student of industrial business models. My current opportunity is no different. It's just in the plastics industry. So earlier this year, I found myself immersed in the plastics industry. It's difficult to imagine modern life without plastics. Take a minute. Our cars, our fashion, our homes, our appliances, our sports, our health, our food and beverage packaging. Shall I go on? Next slide. Yet we haven't always had these modern marvels of innovation. Plastics are actually a relatively new invention. Plastic was created by a scientific mishap. In 1839, the American chemist Charles Goodyear mixed the substances of rubber and sulfur together. However, he spilled part of the mixture onto a hot stovetop, creating vulcanized rubber. In the early 1900s, a Belgian-American chemist created bulkite, the real synthetic mass-produced plastic. This is how the first plastic ever came to being and developed throughout the early 1900s. Production of plastics exponentially increased from just over 2 million tons in 1950 to 450 million tons by 2050. Production is expected to double by 2050. Today, China is the largest producer of plastics, followed by Europe and the US. When combined, the Americas and Europe account for over 40% of the world's plastic production, about equal to Asia. Next. Not surprisingly, plastics matter to our economy. The US plastics industry is the third largest manufacturing industry in the United States. It employs nearly 1.5 million people, including myself. US plastics industry created a turnover of just over 380 billion per year, with more than 13 billion trade surplus and 1.2 trillion globally. As you can see from the chart, plastics matter in a big way to our global economy. Next slide. And now, why plastics? Looking around us, we can see plastics in many different forms and products used in our everyday lives, from packaging, medical diagnostics, consumer products, electronics, textiles, building and construction, and many others. This is due to the many attractive properties of plastics. They're lightweight, durable, and low cost when manufactured at scale. Plastic materials already contribute to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by making a more efficient use of our resources across a range of different sectors and everyday applications. Next. We don't need to think too hard, however, to realize some of the downside of plastics, in particular on our marine environment. 18 billion pounds of plastic pollution flows into the sea from coastal regions annually. Less than 1 in 7 plastic bags are recycled. Much of this ends up in the seas and eventually through our consumption of marine life and us as well. COVID-19 has exacerbated single-use plastics. Just think about COVID tests, face masks, etc. Single-use plastics is one of the biggest issues that we face. In general, widespread usage of single-use packaging and the management of packaging waste has resulted in a heavy burden on the environment. But here's the punchline. Plastics allow us to deliver products that are life-saving, waste-saving, and emissions-reducing. The issue is not plastics per se, but we must realize that all plastic products reach their end of life and must be disposed of. Herein lies the issue and the opportunity for all of us. Next slide. Some countries around the world are introducing regulations to foster sustainability. Germany and Denmark were well ahead of the game and introduced taxes on plastic bags in the 1990s. Today, more than 60 countries globally have introduced bans to curb single-use plastic bags or any kind of plastic bags. In 2017, China banned the import of plastic waste. In 2020, the EU set a goal to reach 55% plastics waste recycling by 2030. The list of strong steps to push sustainability is long. Next. Another answer to the plastic dilemma is a circular economy. We can reduce, replace, and improve plastic. A circular economy is a model in which everything is reused or recycled, and any leakage into the environment is not acceptable. We need to work towards a circular economy that allows us to benefit from plastics and also reduce or recycle plastic waste. There are 3 primary areas of focus in what the industry refers to as the plastic circular economy. 1 is raw material production. 2, conversion of plastic material to products. This is where Molding Solutions plays. And 3 is end-of-life disposition. One critical goal with a global focus is to significantly eliminate plastic waste that ends up in our oceans and landfills. And given the average useful life of plastics, up to 30 years in some cases, it is imperative that we solve for improvements in the disposition of plastic waste and plastics in general. And we're making good progress in some areas. Since 2006, the amount of plastic waste sent to recycling has doubled. In the EU, in 2016, for the first time, more plastic waste was recycled than went to landfills. We must continue the positive life cycle trend of recycling, especially in developing countries. We also must continue building robust systems for the supply of and demand for plastic waste. In Germany, where I live today, from 2006 to 2016, the value of plastic packaging waste collected for recycling increased by 68%, and landfill decreased by 95%. Globally, we must accelerate recovery of plastic waste with recycling and recovery programs. Next slide. All of us have a role to play. At Barnes Molding Solutions, we are focused on developing technology to support the processing of bio-based, biodegradable, and recycled plastics. What this means is we're working on the adoption of new environmentally friendly plastics called EFPs that will then require the development of more advanced injection molding processes, delivering tighter control over a narrower processing window. In our business, we want to be at the forefront of enabling our customers to make the next best eco-friendly asthma inhaler or biodegradable shampoo bottle. Next slide. So where does that leave the little girl with a superwoman's cape? I'm just as committed as ever to saving the world by positively impacting those around me and leveraging my platform. running businesses in the plastics industry while helping to educate the population on plastics, enable environmentally friendly plastics, and even more specifically, working with partners to expand recycling of plastic waste with digital watermarks. Just as I started, saving the planet does not mean eradicating plastic. It means changing the plastics and us. Thank you so much.